Hi everyone, today we're going to be working on this crochet Christmas tree skirt. I've made a video tutorial for this specific one that you see in this image, which is underneath a slim tree that I had for a small space. I have also included the steps for a full-size Christmas tree skirt for this exact same pattern, and both options are available in the one pattern download. Have a look at the link in the description below. You'll also find all of the details about the materials needed for this pattern included in the description below as well. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Okay, so we're going to begin by making our starting loop. If any of my steps for the stitches go a little too fast, have a look at my stitch tutorials, which are also included in links in the description below. All right, so let's start with a chain 5. Yarn over, pull it right through your loop. Yarn over, pull through the loop. So that's 2 and 3, 4, 5. Let's attach this last chain to the first one with a slip stitch. Okay. And we're going to chain 2. And we're going to work 5 half double crochets into the middle of the ring. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You're going to have a little bit of a gap here, but don't worry about it. We're going to take care of that at the end. We're not closing this. We're not working in the round. We want a half circle. All right, so let's move on to our next step. You're going to chain 2, and this is going to count as a double crochet. So we're going to go ahead and double crochet once in that first stitch because our chain 2 is going to count as a double crochet. So technically it's like we have 2 double crochets right now. Okay. And we're going to work 2 double crochets into each of the remaining stitches. All right, so that's 2 in that one there. Two in the next stitch. So you had 5 stitches. By the time we get all the way around here, you should have 10. And that double crochet, the chain 2 at the beginning is counting as a double crochet. So you should have a total of 10 stitches by the time you get to the end of this little half circle. It can be a little tricky working with this yarn because you can't really see the stitches. You got to feel them. So don't let that make you discouraged. It is easy to feel them. There we go. Okay, and now we're going to chain 2, which again, it's going to count as a double crochet for our next row, and turn your work. All right, so we're going to work 1 double crochet in the first stitch because our chain 2 counts as a double crochet. And we're going to work 1 double crochet in the following. And 2 double crochet in the next. One double crochet in the following, and 2 double crochet in the next, and keep going all the way till the end and then come back. Okay, so we're going to chain 2, which is going to count as a double crochet in our next row. Turn your work, do 1 double crochet in that first one because the chain 2 counts as a double crochet, so technically we've got 2 here. And now we're going to work 1 double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. We're just gently increasing each row. Okay, so 1 double crochet in each of the next 2. And now we're going to do 2 in this following stitch. 2 double crochets in this following stitch. And then 1 into each of the next 2. And you're going to keep on going all the way down this row. When you get to the end, you'll chain 2 and turn your work to begin the next row, keeping in mind that the chain 2 is always going to count as a double crochet. All right, so now we're going to work a double crochet into that first stitch, and we're going to work 1 into each of the next 3 stitches. 1 double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. And 2 into the following, and then you're just going to continue alternating all the way down to the end, chain 2, turn your work and come back. All right, double crochet in that first stitch. Remember the chain 2 counts as 1, so technically this is 2. And now we're going to work 1 double crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. And you're going to work that all the way down. So you're going to do 2 and then 1 into each of the next 4. 2 and then 1 into each of the next 4. And you're just going to keep on going all the way down until you get to the end. You'll chain 2 and turn your work. Okay, so go ahead, do that row and then come back. All right, so now we're going to chain 2 and start our next row. So do your double crochet in the first stitch there. And now 1 into each of the next 5, and then 2 in the following. 1 into each of the next 5, 2 in the following. You're going to do that all the way down and chain 2, turn your work, and then you're going to come back. I'll go through the first couple here with you. 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then 2 in that next one. One into each of the next 5. Two in the next. I'm just going to keep on going all the way down. I'm just double checking my stitch count here every so often. I'll keep going, then come back. Okay, so let's start our next row. We're going to chain 2 and turn our work. And we're going to do our double crochet in that first stitch there. Oops. And now we're going to work 1 double crochet into each of the next 6 stitches. Keep having to pull up some more yarn from the ball. It gets really, makes the tension super tight when it's not unraveled enough. Okay, so 1 into each of the next 6 stitches. And 2 into the following stitch. And you're just going to keep on going all the way down the row alternating, chain 2 and come back. Okay. We're going to start our next row. Start with that 1 double crochet in the first stitch because the chain 2 counts as a double crochet. And then 1 double crochet into each of the next 7. 1, 2, 3, 2 into the next, keep going all the way down. All right, we're almost ready for the next step. So do your 1 double crochet in that first stitch there, and then 1 double crochet into each of the next 8 stitches, and then 2 into the following stitch, and you're just going to keep going alternating all the way down, chain 2, and turn your work and come back. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and do the same thing with this next row that we've been doing, but you're going to put 9 in between each of those. So 1 in the first one there, and then 1 in each of the next 9, and then 2 in the following. And you're going to continue all the way down and come back. All right, so now that you finished that row, we're going to pull a little bit of the yarn up and we're going to fasten this off. Just grab your scissors and just fasten off that yarn. And carefully pull this through. This yarn could be kind of tricky to work with, I'm not going to lie. When you're threading your yarn needle, it's kind of funny. Like it gets very fluffy, bits can fall off the end. So just be really gentle with it. And also don't pull too super tight because it could snap kind of easily. It's really worth it. The projects are beautiful, but it can be a little tricky to work with like that. All right, so you're going to use your yarn needle and just weave the tail end in and out of a few of the stitches just to hide and secure it. I always like to finish it off with a little gentle knot, gentle being the key word with this yarn. And then you're just going to fasten that off. That's good enough. You don't have to worry about weaving the whole thing, just a couple stitches. And then we're going to go ahead and close this little gap here from the beginning. And we're just going to use our yarn needle and kind of sew that, just weaving this tail end in and out, but doing it so that you're closing that gap at the same time from that ring at the beginning. So I just like to just push it right from the edge through. And you can go a couple times, depends how long that little tail end is. Weave that in and out, and there you go. You've hidden your little gap, and just till you're happy with it and you've got no gap anymore. So now you're just going to go ahead and set this aside and do the exact same steps that we've just done. So this is exactly half of your work. You're going to go and do these exact same steps all over again. You can rewatch the video from the beginning until you get to this part. And when you've finished your second half, come back and we're going to move on to the next step. Okay, so now that you have both halves of your tree skirt completed, we're going to go ahead and line up the edges. You're just going to get both sides and line up the corners. It doesn't matter which end. You just want to make sure that you have 2 of the little corners lined up. Okay, and we're going to just halfway down connect these using slip stitches all the way down. So line it up. It's good to look at where the middle bit is and make sure that the middles are lined up good. Okay, so take both sides and we're gonna slip stitch all the way down just to the halfway mark. And we're gonna be working through both sides to create that seam and connect, to connect both sides of our work. So it could be a little bit tricky working through, but just take your time and work those slip stitches all the way down. As I said, being careful to work through both sides of your work. Only to the halfway mark. Once you get to that middle, that's where you're going to stop and fasten it off. Okay, so go ahead and work those slip stitches down to the middle and then come back. All right, so now just pull up a somewhat decent bit of yarn there that you can work with to hide the tail end and fasten it off. Pull the rest of it through very gently. And then you're going to go ahead and get your yarn needle, and you're going to thread your yarn needle and do the same thing with this tail end. You're just going to weave it in and out of some of the stitches, and that's it. You're done. I hope that you enjoy your beautiful new tree skirt. I hope you enjoyed this pattern. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.